Hello, students. Welcome back. So, students, we are doing the monkey's paw, and we had left till here. We are left from here that we have to start it. Okay. So, students, here Mr. White and Herbert they are cracking jokes. Okay, and Herbert says good night, and he then he leaves for his duty. Okay, and the thing is here, the important thing is that the old man here is Mr. White. He comes in after saying goodbye to Herbert, and then when he comes and he closes the door, there is some difficulty with the upper bolt. That the upper lock of the door is not working properly. Okay. Then Mr. White says this bolts stiff again, and he says that Herbert would return next day and he will ask him to correct the bolt again. Okay, so here, uh, see students, there is a hope which is shown by the writer, uh, and it is for Mr. and Mrs. White that their son Herbert will return next day. Okay. And when he crosses into the room, Mr. White comes into the room, and then what happens? He is attracted towards the fireplace, and he sits down to see the fire. And in the fire, what he sees? He sees something horrible. And what that horrible is going to be? That he is going to see faces in the fire. Faces in the fire. And after seeing that, Mr. White is afraid, is frightened, and he calls mother, mother. He cries because of fear. And then Mrs. White stops and she asks, what is the matter? Then Mr. White says nothing. He takes the matter lightly and he says, nothing. I just saw faces in the fire. So there are two reasons why he could have seen faces in the fire. First one is uh, the uh, the monkey's paws magic has begun. Okay, that is why uh, he is saying face. See, he's seeing faces in the fire. Second thing is, second reason can be that as we know that the paw got twisted when Mr. White asked a wish from it. Do you remember that? And then he was afraid of that how a bony thing can twist, and it can be said that he is that all that incidents these incidents affected his psychological condition. Okay, these events affected him psychologically, so that is why he saw faces in the fire. We can say he imagined those faces. Now Mrs. White says, come along, that come into the room. And then they goes into the room, and for that they have to use stairs. And when Mr. White is on the first step, okay, he looks back and he is frightened after seeing the fireplace. By this, scene 1 is completed, and now scene 2. See, in the first scene it was night, and now it's day, bright sunshine, and it's breakfast time. When Herbert is expected by the White family that he will come in 10 minutes or in 15 minutes. Now the table has been as moved into the room, and they are going to do breakfast on it. Mrs. White is making arrangements for the breakfast, and see, time and again Mr. White and Mrs. White will be looking off from the window. At every place, they will be searching for their son. They will be waiting for their son, Herbert. Now, Mr. White, what's a morning, Herbert? What a morning Herbert's got for walking home. See, they are already expecting Herbert. And Mrs. White says that it's 9:15 and he will come. It's 9:15 and his duty is off at 8 a.m. Okay. And then Mr. White says that after 8 a.m., when his duty is off, he takes half an hour for changing his clothes and then washing himself. So he would be walking by the cemetery now, means he will be on his way to home. Mrs. White then says that okay, it means he will be here in 10 minutes. How caring Mr. White and Mrs. White are towards their son Herbert. They know that at what time their son, actually they know the whereabouts of their son, that at what time their son would be at which place, which exact place. Okay. Then Mr. White, what's for breakfast? Then she answers, sausages. Okay, students, now you will see that again they are going to discuss the events of the last evening. For example, regarding the monkey's paw, the wishes, and everything about that, and the money they have wished for. And Mrs. White sees that dirty monkey's paw and she calls it dirty. She looks at it with disgust and puts it back. Okay, and then she calls the monkey's paw silly thing. And then she reminds that how nonsense it was for them that they were listening to the idea of magic of granting wishes. Then Mr. White says, see, again he is looking at the window. He is looking through the window, goes up to the window again, means he is waiting for his son. Then he comments on that, on this. He comments that Sergeant Major and his yarns, uh, that it was all about, yesterday's evening was all about Sergeant Major Morris and his stories. And then he says, according to Mr. White, every old soldier is like that. Every old soldier has a lot of stories to tell. Then, okay, then Mrs. White says, come on, father, Herbert hates us to wait. See, if you remember, students, Herbert, when he left for his duty, what he said that don't wait for me, just have your dinner. So Mrs. White again says that Herbert doesn't like if we will be waiting for him, so let us have our dinner. Sorry, breakfast. Then Mrs. White again. Now again, the conversation regarding the wishes has started. She says, in today's time, that how the wishes can be granted. Then Mr. White at this says that it means that you are asking me this question in the morning. It means all the night you were thinking about it. Then Mrs. White says, you that it was not about that monkey's paw that kept me awake. It was you that kept me awake. Why? Because you were tossing and tumbling. You were not you didn't lay in a single position. You were shaking the bed by tossing and tumbling. Mr. White then confirms it. He says, yes, it was a bad night for me. It was not a peaceful night. Mrs. White then gives a judgment that it must be because of the storm that you had a bad night. Then Mr. White says, no, I didn't even hear that storm. I was asleep. He says, I was asleep and not asleep, if you know what I mean. See, students, this dialogue means that he was psychologically upset. He was asleep as he didn't know what was happening around him, but in his mind, even his sleep, he was not peaceful. It was for him like he was awake, and everything regarding the monkey's paw and the wishes, Sergeant Major Morris' warnings was coming into his mind. Then, see in these two dialogues, this dialogue and of this dialogue, they are making fun of the wish they have asked for. Mrs. White says that it would hurt you if you will get 200 pounds. Then Mr. White takes it lightly and he says that yes, if it will drop on my head in a lump, that 200 pounds is a large amount, is a huge amount. If it drops on my head directly, then it would hurt me, obviously. And then he says it is the only way that they would get the money by that it will uh, it will drop from the sky and it will land in our house. Then he says, but according to Morris, the wishes are granted so naturally that anybody cannot doubt it, that anybody would think that it was a coincidence. At this, Mrs. White is not hopeful regarding that. She says, well, nothing has happened, it hasn't happened. She says the wishes are not granted, and she says that our wishes not going to be granted. Okay, after when they are talking, a letter is dropped in the letter box by a postman, and then with a sharp knock of that postman, Mrs. White is frightened, and she jumps to her feet and she asks, "What's that?" Mr. White says, "It's postman, of course." Then Mrs. White, when she sees the letter from a distance, uh, she thinks about, or she is excited. Why? Because somewhere or the other, she trusts Major Morris, and she knows that it can happen that their wish is granted. So here it comes to the mind of Mr. White and Mrs. White that the letter which they have received may be full of money. It can carry 200 pounds. Okay, so that is why she whispers. Then Mrs. White, okay, one thing more, Mrs. White is showing her excitement, but Mr. White, on the other hand, he is also excited, but he is concealing it. Okay, he doesn't want to show that he is excited too. Now Mrs. White asks that what he has brought. Mr. White, it would be a letter only. What a postman can bring. It should be a letter only, not coals. Then Mrs. White says, suppose. Then Mr. White knows everything, but he asks, suppose what? Mrs. White says, suppose it was 200 pounds. Then Mr. White is suppressing his excitement, means he is concealing it. And then he says, hey, here, don't talk nonsense. Why don't you fetch it? He says, don't talk nonsense. Okay, bring the letter to me. Here, Mr. White is also excited. He also thinks that the letter may be carrying 200 pounds, but he doesn't want to show that, to show his excitement. Mrs. White brings the letter and brings the letter to Mr. White. And while she was carrying the letter in her hand, she feels it, and what she felt, it was that the letter was thick and there was some crisp in it, crisp of a paper, of a note, we can say banknote. Then Mr. White asks, "This letter is for whom?" Mrs. White replies, "It is for you, Mr. White, or father." Then Mr. White says, "Then if it is for me, then give it to me." Now he is again concealing his excitement but he is not able to conceal it properly. That is why the word here, ill concealed, I am underlining it again, highlighting it again. Ill concealed is used. Okay. Now, here, Mr. White asks for his specs because he's an old man. He cannot open it without his specs, or he cannot read it without his specs. Mrs. White says, okay, then let me open it if you need specs. Now, Mr. White says, don't touch it. Where are my specs? Don't touch it. Don't you touch it. Okay, so at this, Mrs. White says that she comments on the behavior of Mr. White. She says that she says, why are you behaving in such a manner uh, that a sudden wealth, that a sudden here means that they have, if they are, see, students, Mr. and Mrs. White, they are not hoping it, they are sure on their behalf that the letter must be carrying money. So she says, Mrs. White at this says that don't let sudden wealth soar your temper. That behave with me properly. Don't let your temper lose on me if you have got money in a suddenly, or uh, yeah, suddenly. Okay. Then Mr. White, again he's rude. Will you find my specs? Mrs. White brings the specs, and then what happens? She says, take care, don't tear it. Now again, she says, don't tear it. That why don't tear it? He asks, tear what? Then she says, if it was banknotes, John, she says, if the letter is carrying banknotes, then we should not tear it, otherwise we can harm the money. Now, Mr. White has, what he has done, he has opened the letter, and what has been packed in the letter? Now let us read it. Taking a thick formal document out of the envelope and a crisp looking slip. Okay, so this parcel or this letter is carrying a document, a formal document in which it is written that their loan is pending. Okay, that their loan is pending. Okay, we are reading it. And it has a formal document. A formal document here means a document from a bank. And after just bringing that document out of the letter, they are sure that no money has been received by them. So Mr. White says, you have gone dotty, means you have become, Mrs. White has become mentally ill, and the lady is making Mr. White nervous. That the behavior of Mrs. White is making him nervous too. Okay, so now what is written? Sir, enclosed, please find receipt for interest on the mortgages of £200 on your house duly received. Okay, then they look at each other. I have already told you that um, they haven't paid their uh, interest or the money. So they now look at each other and they sits down, Mr. White finishes his breakfast silently. And at this, Mrs. White says that this is what happens, that this is how the hopes are shattered when when they listen to an old soldier, tipsy soldier. That she says, when um, someone listens to the fake stories of, here of course the stories of Sergeant Major Morris, then this is what happens. Okay, now after this, Mrs. White says that now again Mr. White and Mrs. White are going to play with words. They are going to take the situation in a light manner, light-heartedly. Okay, now Mrs. White is going to tease Mr. White, her husband, that Mr. White was expecting money in that letter. Okay, you now she says you thought there was banknotes in it. Mr. White is injured. Now Mr. White knows his wife that she will going to make fun of his excitement. Then he tries to prove himself that no, I didn't thought of it. Then Mrs. White says, "How Herbert will laugh when I tell him." They are again including Herbert in this matter. Mr. White now has become good humored, and then he says, he asks or requests his wife that do not tell anything to Herbert, otherwise Herbert would make fun of him for the whole life. Okay, you are going to keep your mouth shut. That's what you are going to do. Why I should never hear the last of it. Means every time at throughout his life, Herbert will make fun of this situation, this expectations. So Mrs. White says, "No, I will tell Herbert everything." And when she says serve you right, I shall tell him. It means that I will tell each and everything to Herbert in an exaggerated manner, and then he will tease you. You know, you like his fun. See how he joked you last night when you said the paw moved. Then they are talking about Herbert, that Herbert made fun of Mr. White last evening as well, last night as well, when Mr. White said that the paw moved. Again, Mrs. White is looking through the window and she is waiting for her son. Mr. White says that he tries to assure it that yes, the paw moved and he was not telling a lie. Mrs. White, she is watching outside and she is answering at it as well, that it was the imagination of Mr. White that the paw moved. Otherwise, it could not have moved. Okay. Again, Mr. White in these lines tries to explain what happened to the paw last night. That he says that yes, the paw moved and the movement of the paw made him upset as well. Mrs. White is not listening to him. Okay, why? Because she is looking outside through the window. She is waiting for her son, as well as there is a gentleman outside as well. Okay, so uh, he asks, didn't you know I was upset regarding the monkey's paw? And then he asks, what is it? What is outside? She says nothing. Then Mr. White asks that, do you see Herbert coming? She says no. Okay, so wait. Mr. White says what he's about due, that he is just going to come in a minute or two. Then he asks, what is outside? So in the next lecture, students, in the next video, we will read about the gentleman who has come outside. Okay. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Bye bye.